buddy.
Welcome to Surface Noise, the A-side.
Look at that. I gotta give StreamYard some credit. Adding that little wrinkle of threading that intro video in with live. I wouldn't say it's a game changer, but it makes it look a lot smoother than me fumbling around and clicking things and seeing us backstage and then that. And so anyway, it's that's how they justify that.
So it's a game changer. It's a game changer.
I guess, that's such a corporate buzz thing that I try to avoid that, that kind of stuff. Level sets, double click, all that kind of corporate nonsense. Well, we're going to let the room fill up. We also have our other panelist. I think I see him backstage. Hello.
Hello.
All right. We're waiting for you. Hola, casa.
Did the daylight savings bullshit thing happen again? Because what is this shit? I never know that when that happens. Did it?
No, Jose.
No.
We still got some time. I think it is what we call it fashionably late. It's like a nice scarf.
I'm normally at 9 here, and it's 8 right now, and it's 8 for me as well. So I don't know. It's weird. I don't know.
You need
Maybe
to talk
your time zone change.
How is it 8?
No.
Where are you, Jose, first of all?
In Monterrey. In Mexico, we don't have that anymore. Daylight savings.
Well, then that's why there's no difference.
Yeah, but that would mean that you guys changed.
Daylight savings is on in the winter, is the summer, right? Yeah.
Jose, is there a reason that you're in avatar mode? Because I'm getting like Manosphere vibes, and that's not really our play here. We're not really hiding from like bill collectors or collection agencies or bad ex-boyfriends or girlfriends or both. So I want to see that small business. Oh no.
I'll be ready like in 1 second.
Listen,
as long as you got a shirt on, it's good enough.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Jose, I've seen Jose without a shirt on. I'm just being honest. And it's okay if he wants to go shirtless. I got no problem with that. But let's say hello to so many folks. I want to thank everybody for joining. We're about to kick this off. Cesar, hello. Welcome to the festivities. Ivan, the music man, hello. Oh, my goodness. Wally is here. Oh, my man. I remember. Yeah, WFMU guy. How have I not heard anyone talk about the massive update from VMP? Well, we'll see how this rolls. There could be some VMP in our topics, but we'll see how it goes. Stay tuned, I think, is the way they say it in the business. Hello, Mr. Tiki. Good to see you, sir. Eddie. Yo. Good to see you. The Groove Seeker. I like how Chris is adopting the alter ego. It's time, and he's Groove Seeker. That's a good call. I like what you did there, Chris. Andy G, hello. Tom, Hiran District, hello. Terry, Tap Records, hello. My dad, Dana Kimbowitz, is here. Hello, Pop. How's it going? Inside joke. Is this a new channel? Spins Vinyl. Is anyone familiar with the channel Spins Vinyl? Welcome, Spins Vinyl. Good to see you. All right. Oh, DJ Trish came in.
I think he sent sold me a Fent once. Yeah.
Fentanyl? What's going on? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Norman Maslow says better hide from the ice raids. They're happening now. That's breaking news I'm not ready for. We got Mr. Jason Arsenal. Good to see you, sir. Hello. Anyone else I missed? One of the OGs of the vinyl community. Is that Pro? Vance, greetings.
What a man.
Hello. Bobby Gass, hello. New friend, John Lill, hello. Elliot's here, I think I see. Man, we just got a what a roster. We lost Rojas. Rojas is having some technical difficulties, so he'll come back hopefully.
Yeah, the IT guy's having problems. That's amazing.
This is what happened. We got those raids, and now the IT is falling apart. Now, hey, before we get started, my man, John Bip Bop Boom. First of all, one of my favorites in the community. Learned so much from him. I caught the tail end. He was streaming right before we came on. And you know what my guy did? Shouted out. He's like, go check out Chance's stream coming up next. So, John, I would tip of the cap, figuratively and literally. I'd take it off, but the shine from my dome would probably detract from our viewer count. So, John, I wanted to shout you out. That's class. I appreciate you. Now, this is Surface Noise. You're probably familiar. This is the A side. It's a time where I'm at the controls, B side. For those who don't know, Spins Vinyl is at the control. And it's a hard concept. Some people they give a shit about it, but some people just can't get it. So there may be more on that down the road. We're talking about some things, the Spinster and myself. But anyway, Concert Buddy here. Familiar faces abound, and a face who's been here before, but it was such a hot take marathon that the Third Degree Burns had to cool. I want to welcome first guest for tonight. That is Alex. The channel is Beer and Vinyl. Alex, welcome back. How has the healing commenced?
Yeah, I don't even remember what that was. So
oh my God, see, it blacked you out. The fumes from all the hot takes overwhelmed your senses. It happens. I'm
for
sorry.
Sure.
Well,
yeah.
Well,
no, I've been waiting for the invite back since that time happened, and I'm just so honored that everybody else said no. But no, I'm really glad to be here. Thank you, buddy, and obviously an honor to be with the rest of the folks who are here. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, Alex is one of the best cats. He's one of the select few that has actually seen this up close and not ran the other way. So I appreciate that because it's a common reaction that
I did get free pizza and beer. So
yeah, I guess buying your meal kept you around because honestly, it was more of it's either my man musk, my scent. It either keeps you or it makes you retreat. So in Alex's case, I greased the wheel by buying some beer and pizza, and I guess when I slipped those roofies, they didn't work on you. I don't know how else to say it.
I'm immune. Yeah.
All right. Well, also joined. Let's get to the familiar faces. Jose, I'm going to start with you. Jose Moreno Ron, how the hell are you?
Resetting settings on my camera. Oh, there you go. I'm good, I guess.
Well, good. Jose, we're gonna have a hell of a 2025. I'm just here to tell you.
Look, it's the Mazzy filter.
The Oh, wow.
Cute.
Going black and white, Jose. This is. You got to do this. You got to look. I mean,
I'm missing a hat to do the Mazzy effect.
You got to look at like a 45-degree angle and stare into space. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, and then.
All right, there you go.
Well, let me get through the introductions and we'll start cracking each other. Arnaldo, the channel, for those that don't know, who should know, Fidelius_frequency. Arnaldo, welcome back.
Concert Buddy. Yeah, it's been a while. I was out of commission, so I didn't catch you on the last Concert Buddy A side.
So yeah, you got hit by the flu side. Yeah, you got hit by that flu side, man. Well, glad to have you back in the saddle. I know last week I watched the B side. You're man, what a trophy! You were literally just gutting it through. It was like Jordan Game 6 flu game. You were just trying to get through the live stream. You're on the couch. Your computer was resting right here.
The couch is because I still had the Christmas tree up, so I didn't want to get teased for the usual spot. It has still having a Christmas tree up on January. What was it last week? January 16th, right?
Oh, January 6th.
16th.
No judgment, but I mean we're still in January. I give you people usually till about the end of January. Some people set their trees up late, but if you're getting February 1st and you got that Christmas tree, you're either in a trailer park or you've got questionable morals, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, Jose.
Somebody said Happy New Year to me today. I thought I was weird. Is it acceptable still?
No. Here's why. Who sent this to me? Oh, so new friend of the program, Harold. The channel is Top 5 Vinyl. He recently published a recording we did a few months ago. I sent him a thing and talked to him. I said Happy New Year a few days late, and he sent me the classic Larry David clip where at the gym where the gal comes up and she's like Happy New Year, and it was like January 26th, and he goes, "Is it?" LD for the win.
Yeah. And it's somebody I know, so
Fair enough. And then as our friend Jason, there he is, Jason Rojas. What's going on? IT is letting you down. What? I mean, are you with us?
I am with you now.
All right.
Figure it out.
All right. Beautiful. Jason Rojas, back in the building. And then, and this is the reason I saved him for last, David Bianco, the channel Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursion. David, hello.
Risen from the dead. Almost.
Well, David, listen, I'm not to bury the lead. I actually knew this ahead of time. David asked me to keep it tight. I can keep a secret, guys. Believe it or not, I can keep stuff quiet. But David had a health thing. David, you want to share? Because you revealed it in your video, your Yes Shootout video. Is a very subtle, you put it in the envelope. And so people are going to watch a Yes Shootout video, and then you're just hitting them with the truth. You got the Band-Aid on the arm still. So David, what was going on in your life health-wise, if you don't mind?
Just to show you how dangerous it is to do these vinyl shootouts, I was going to do the video last Saturday night, and I started to feel chest pain. I checked my blood pressure. It was 200 over 150. I was in an ambulance 10 minutes later, went to the hospital, and Monday I had a heart catheterization and ended up with 2 stents because I was 80% blocked. And I came home the next day, and I feel better than ever.
And did you finish that shooting?
I'm sorry?
What record were you shooting out?
Fragile, ironically. Which
wow.
our bodies are fragile.
Well, David, I think I speak for everyone or 99% of the community. First of all, this shit ain't worth dying over. These videos and these shootouts, okay? Those YouTube shekels and the big money we make on this stuff ain't worth it.
Oh, yeah, right.
But I'm glad you're doing much better. You sound better.
Thanks.
New lease on life. I will have to give Wyoming Dave credit, or he stole this from somebody else. He says, unsafe and unsound Texas. David. Wyoming Dave just hit you with a zinger. How do you respond to this? Unbelievable.
Well, I look at it this way, Wyoming Dave. I was safe because I listened to my body and went and did something about it and didn't have an ego to say, it's nothing, it's just Mexican food. You know, no offense, Jose.
Never happened to me. Never happened.
Thanks, everybody, for the well wishes, everybody. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Tom from High Rant District said, I think this is a message. This is pointed right at you, David. He says, the lesson, don't listen to Kevin Gray records. Dave, is that what happened?
What are you Jason's lawyer? What is this?
The revolution will not be televised. I mean, look at Rojas started. Now we've got the malcontents and discontents are just joining up. So. All right. Well, we've carried on long enough. Let's get to the business of record collecting. And we've got a couple of hopefully fun titles of topics, I should say, of conversation. And the first one, let me get rid of Tom's commentary here because that was a good one. Now let's go to the first topic. It's like crossfire. First topic. And this is kind of, Wally kind of talked about Vinyl Me Please earlier. It's kind of a spirit of where this is going to go. And the topic is building the ideal vinyl subscription model. So I want to talk about, and we'll go around the dais, of course, but just perfect world, startup funds not an option. Like, what are the things that to make a safe and sound vinyl subscription service like work? Because obviously some have come and gone. You've got Bandbox, RIP. You've got Curates, RIP. Vinyl Me Please, some would say is on life support. There's other ones, Magnolia, Record Club, Vinyl Moon. I mean, everybody's trying to get in on this. And in fact, Interscope Records, the Tone Poet Society, I know the Groove Seekers here, everybody's trying to get in on this action. So I'm going to kick this off with what I think is probably, to me, the most important thing, and it all revolves around the money, cost. And I think that if you want to have a successful or a lucrative or a long-standing successful vinyl subscription service, you got to get the cost right. Cost on the back end for the end consumer, that it's not overpriced, and it's something that can be easily assimilated into their budget, but also cost on the front end in that you're not making too many, you're not making bad licensing deals, you're not sourcing from plants that charge too much, you're not overextending yourself, you're overextending your credit, et cetera, et cetera. But that doesn't mean that you need to forsake quality, which I'm sure somebody else will bring up here. So to me, I lead it off with cost because I think if you can't get the cost right on the front end or the back end, it's dead on arrival. So Arnaldo, I'm going to start with you on this because you're our insider. What do you think about, and obviously you're a passionate subscription person with your time with Vinyl Me Please, what do you think is an ideal thing that you would focus on if you had a green light to start a vinyl subscription business?
Probably to offer something that is worthwhile subscribing to. And that is that's the difficult part. That's the whole basis of marketing, right? Finding out what people want and giving it to them. You ever heard of the 4 Ps, right?
Pea soup.
No. No, I think it's price, product, promotion, and publicity, right?
Agreed.
But the most important part is finding out what people need and what people want and making it for them. A lot of people work backwards. They come up with something and want to try and convince you that you need it in your life. And that is the wrong start for any type of business model, whether it's records or whatever you're trying to sell. It's always the idea. It's always finding something that you know or don't know people want and need, and then you market it. So offering the same records over and over again that people already bought probably is not the best strategy to start a record subscription club.
Dare I say redundancy? Redundancy is probably not there. Okay, fair enough.
Keep saying it; it'll be redundant too.
Oh, David! I told you, David's at a hospital.
And you touched upon the price point. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What was the most recent one? The jazz one that came out last week. The Verve one.
Oh, the Verve Record Club. Yeah.
Yeah. When I analyzed it, I was like, "This is going to cost me $50 for a record," and I don't even know theoretically if I'm going to like it because they're very specific.
Right.
It probably is targeted for a very specific audience, which is not me. So from my perspective, it wasn't worth it because I was thinking the announcement had some records that I wasn't very familiar with. So trying to convince me that I needed that, maybe they didn't do a very good job at it. And the price point was totally whack.
Non-starter. Sure.
It was a non-starter.
Sure. So, Mr. Rojas, you have also dabbled your toes in the Vinyl Me Please waters. Have you used any other or tried any other subscription services?
Back in the day, I was a member of Columbia Music House.
Oh,
Right.
I thought you were gonna say the Chinese Communist Party, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
right.
wow, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
Damn, But
They
again,
don't like Kevin Gray either.
right. But I have to disagree with Arnaldo. I'll play devil's advocate here.
wow.
The customer doesn't know what they want, so we need to just force these reissues or out of print records on them. So when Kevin Gray reissues this bad boy, and boosts up that bass in that mid range.
Have we ever had a Michael Fremer
This-
showing in the first 20 minutes? This may be a new
That's
record
right.
for the program. I don't know. This is
The hair is going to grow back. Come on.
It's like somebody dying immediately when the whatever the ice ring championship starts. Can I go next?
So the whole thing is you just got to keep reissuing records that nobody wants, right?
Oh,
reissue this bad boy.
No, I just recently
they didn't even
gifted that to
sing on
somebody.
this.
Come on. Oh no. I had 3 copies of that one, Jason. Come on, man. Now you're record shaming me here. What's going on?
Is that before or after the thing?
Before
the reveal of the Milli Vanilli fraudulentness?
There's another one after that, right?
Yeah, where they tried to sing on their own. It's Jose. It's
they're asking who sang on this record, right? Did you sing on this record? And they're like, did you?
I did. It was me.
Right. It was me.
It was me.
All right. Well, Jason, before Jose's eager. So, Jason, what sticks out in your mind if you were to advise a venture capitalist organization? What would you tell them is something they should focus on to be successful with a vinyl subscription model?
Well, I'll be serious here. Probably you want, you've researched your records, right? Maybe like Terry Tap Records, shout out to him. Like you're going to choose like a out of print record, right? And there's interest in it. right? So whether you're saying that it's valuable, maybe you want to choose that, that would be one of the things. And you wouldn't just choose one, right? You'd have like maybe a 24 or 12, right? Ready to go if you were going to a board, right? Presenting all this. I'll be serious, right? You wouldn't want to present this record, People are going to be like, what the hell's this?
They wouldn't even let you in the building, I think, if that
Correct.
was on your arm. Yeah.
Correct.
Fair. That's fair. All right, Jose. Jose's yawning. You better get to him. He's fading. He's fading fast. Jose, what say you?
It's the time change,
Yeah,
it's
a long day.
I'm going to make you big because we want to look into those brown eyes of yours. Come on now. So, Jose, you've obviously, I know you've had some subscription records. What would you advise somebody if they came to you, if they came to the El Presidente of Aurora Central Records and they said, what would you tell us is our number one thing we need to focus on? A vinyl subscription model. Go.
Well, I think that not only look at what records really sell well, but actually what's out of print, and something that people actually want. Because fuck, why is everybody just looking to see like the others? Hey, you saw they did this? Why don't we just do that? And I don't understand it. It's like they just. I think it's probably because Vinyl Me Please audience doesn't really extend that much to like Analog Productions or MoFi as much as we think, because we are seeing it from that hill. But most people that buy from Vinyl Me Please are just people that like pop music, and they get this sort of like, it's like when you use Spotify and you use one of those piece of shit playlists that people are like, oh, I'm discovering artists. So it's probably the same in the same vein. So I would probably say that plan ahead, try to seek out different titles, maybe do like quarterly. I would probably do them like quarterly.
So you're saying timing in terms of.
Yeah, but release all the titles they're gonna be like they were used to, like you doing it like a year ago. Because that way, people are like, all right, it's not for me. I can do it up. But if not, people are just stuck with a record they don't really fucking want,
Jose, a friend of the program, Louis Golden's here. He says, I've been watching for 6 seconds, and Jose hasn't shown a record. Chat, is this real? Jose.
Yes.
We're calling you out.
I will have to like do this, and I have a dog here. But I would say that in order to have a more successful one, it's just stop doing what everybody else is doing. And if you see somebody doing it and you're still on time, maybe release it as a store exclusive instead of like a monthly
feature selection. Sure.
Monthly selection, yes. Because I don't think it's that hard, because sometimes they just pick the same bands, but they pick the same fucking title somebody else did.
Redundancy, yeah.
Yes. So maybe, if you see somebody doing Fleetwood Mac, go like, all right, what else can I do? Oh, the what is it? The first unofficial Stevie Nicks one is
Buckingham Nicks. Is that what you're thinking?
Buckingham Nicks, yeah. Go like, oh, everybody wants that shit. They're half naked in this, So
you're saying go the ERC model. That's what you're saying.
No, ERC is basically like, hey, you remember that dollar record you saw? We got it, but the motherfucker sounds amazing.
What are you talking about? It wasn't mastered by KG. Shame on.
And then they'll tell you like, hey, we also have this like a very hard to get Stooges record.
Correct.
And they'll be like, fuck, you know what? I fuck you. $400, you get this dollar record, but we did it with a machine that will blow you away. And your wife leaves you after like she knows like how much money you spend on that bastard.
Oh no, we're splitting up families. Jose, we can't break up families. So before we ruin any more families, Alex, what has been your experience? Have you partaken in any of these vinyl subscription models? If yes or no, what advice do you think as an end consumer would you just kind of want to put that bug in their ear to how to be successful?
Yeah, well, so I was a Vinyl Me Please subscriber since I started collecting. So we're talking like summer 2020.
Well, show of hands real quick. Everybody's at least tried one of them, right? Vinyl Me Please, probably David, Bianco.
Yeah.
So everybody here tried one. Okay, fair enough. So Alex, what was your experience like overall with that?
Yeah, and I kept it. Well, I want to say it was probably inconsistent. Like I was out, I was in, and then after
they pulled me back in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could have been anything. It could have been financial. It could have been just like going dry or whatever for a few months. But
vinyl, crack cocaine, I understand.
And then whatever the most recent, or not the most recent, but the update several months ago about all the prices going up. And look, the other thing too is over 5 years or 10 years or even over a year, like our collecting habits change and what we want changes. And it's like I also don't buy MoFis anymore. And that has nothing to do with like MoFi Gate. I'm not interested in $60 audiophile records anymore. So, I will say though, like in my experience, I had a very positive experience in the 4 years or whatever with Vinyl Me Please, but also, something I have to consider when it comes to subscription models is like, someone told me like there's no such thing as a rare record anymore. Like there's just expensive records. Like you can find and you can go online and buy any record that you want.
Blaze Foley.
Yes. And so it's like the idea that there it is. It's like, oh, like this is the only way of getting these things. Like you can like there's no shortage of places that people can go and get exactly what they want. To Jason's point, yeah, I think there is an element of like, no, people don't know what they want, and just the idea of getting the mystery record is cool. Do you remember? It can't exist anymore. Do you remember vinyl? It was just spelled like VNYL.
It was missing the I. Yes, I do remember VNYL. Yes.
And their whole thing was that they just sent you like 3 random records
in a pink box or something.
In a pink box, and they were all stupid. They were all, like it was all dumb. But at some point I was sitting and I did it for like a month, and I was like, I'm never doing this. But like, you were just excited because you're like, this is a random box of shit. Like I want that.
Adele 30 is like just Adele 30.
Yeah, it was like
color variant. Yeah.
But I will say, like they had like this cute theme with it where one of the staff members, which like you can't imagine that they're a big operation, would personally put your box together, based on what you say you like, and then they would write you a note, and they'd be like, gross, Alex, you said you like metal, so I put in Tool Opiate, and I'm like, you mean the record that's like $7 on Amazon all the time? Thank you. So, again, like I think like you can buy stuff anywhere. To the other points too. Yeah, of course we would all want out of print, rare stuff that you can't get by everywhere else. But there's a reason that a lot of these places have not reissued those labels, like Buckingham Nicks, for example. I mean, I don't know that has ever really been outside of really early represses of it. But so that's my thing. I think there were a lot of changes with Vinyl Me Please over the years that I thought were good changes. I think that they should identify, and I will say I'm cheating a little bit here because one of my favorite jazz channels is WCB or What Can Brown.
Yeah, what would Brown do for you? Yeah.
He did. He always does really great stuff with Vinyl Me Please.
He's been here before, and he should come back again. I'm just saying, he's been.
Yeah,
here.
I mean, which is like, I think that Vinyl Me Please specifically, to be competitive, should probably do like the boutique label, not the label, but the boutique subscription service thing, because they had sometimes good packaging, sometimes not. Sometimes great sounding, sometimes not. Sometimes. I remember people lost their mind when they did Master of Reality from Sabbath, and I'm still waiting for that. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going. There's a lot of execution issues going on for sure.
So, it's like, oh, finally we have a title that everybody's, gooping their shorts for, but like, what, what are we doing with it? So, all that to say, I think subscription services right now are really difficult when you can go out and buy whatever you want, whenever you want, for the price that you are comfortable with. And what I ended up finding was, even if I was getting cool records from Vinyl Me Please, and I was like, oh, the packaging's great, It sounds really good. You know, the vinyl is a beautiful color, like all this different stuff. I'd still sit there and say, Alex, like you just paid $45.
Can I interrupt? What? One
Uh-oh.
second. Which Vital We Please subscription model were you in that you got great sounding records, perfect album covers, and you were
Here he goes. He's going to tear him down. He's got the
I'm
axe.
saying it was
Oh,
inconsistent or not. Like I'm saying it wasn't consistent. Like sometimes it was, sometimes it's not. I've watched your reviews. It's the same way where you're like, this one they knocked out of the park. This one, like I don't know who was in charge with it. And so I just think it was like I think, you know, they were trying to do 10 things really, really well. And it turned out it was like, well, maybe let's focus on the 2 things that we can do really, really well, whatever that is. But again, I think it's hard doing the subscription stuff. Thank you. I think it's hard doing the subscription stuff because anybody can buy whatever record they want whenever they want to. And the reissue market right now is out of control.
Flooded. Yes.
Flooded, which is good. So I have a hard time picturing what the need is for something like this that would get people excited and get what they want in that way. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Appreciate you. Now, David Bianco, I saved you for last because I just know that you, in your heart of hearts, have always wanted to start a vinyl subscription business, but it just wasn't in the cards between, you know, your male modeling days and, you know, your life as a just a great guy. So
Couldn't fit it in.
Right? You know, your search to be the ideal audiophile. So all that said, what's your take on this? And is there one thing that sticks out from your experience as an end consumer that, man, I would tell somebody to focus on this if they wanted to knock it out of the park?
Well, the thing that I would really think would be the best way to approach this would be if I was going to start one of these, I would, you know, have those that they, you know, let's say you were a subscriber into something. Let's take the Analog Productions 75th Atlantic for an example.
Okay.
70 titles, 5 left. I would have taken and had a customer council of all the subscribers to help evaluate what options there were for the remaining 5 to have input to that, for example.
So you would
crowdsource. Yes.
So just to be clear, you would crowdsource feedback from your customer base to steer you in the direction of filling out those 5 titles.
Maybe not even my whole customer base, maybe only my subscribers, and that's another advantage to being a subscriber.
Okay. Like so there's a value add of the subscription, the extras.
Right. Yeah, and there's input coming from the market.
And the value add is not socks.
Oh yeah. And again, I want to be very clear. We're not beating up on VMP deliberately. This is more it can be perceived as that. I've definitely heard that from folks, but the reality is they're the big kahuna in this space, and they're obviously going through some stuff. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about how to get it right from the jump, and that's a hard thing to do. You've heard our guys talk about cost for me, redundancies, extras. I mean, there's not a secret formula as it comes to that, but I think Alex hit on the head. There's so many reissues that it's hard to kind of delineate in this space to be different. Yeah, David, your camera is a little wonky. I see people. I told you the male model thing. It really piqued people's interest. Now they want to see if that was accurate. So now I do want to call. Before we change topics, Jasmine's Mike makes a good comment. He says, "Hey, Chance, I say have a face-to-face with the subscription series. Someone who speaks to the audience, explains the titles and the thinking behind each selection. Engage with the collectors."
And
yes, Jose.
I will say that, for example, there's a website that I guess some people in the VC are familiar with. It's called Soundnum in Italy. And they're not a subscription per se, but they have a membership option that you pay like $100, I think, a year, but you get 10% out of every record you buy, and after like I don't know how much records you have to buy, you get free shipping from Italy. So that's great because you buy them, you have like a few records over there, and then when you reach that volume, they ship it over here. I guess you can just ask them to ship it to you, but that could be something like if you have a lot of exclusive website exclusives, you could probably have something in the veins of pay a yearly fee and you get 10% discount on everything, but you make the choice of what you buy. And if you don't like what you're buying or whatever, you just skip the year or skip those 6 months. But again, not knowing what the fuck you're gonna get, it's just weird because especially now that there's back to three genres and the Dolly Parton one. Imagine they pull that shit again and they want to give you a Dolly Parton record. You'll be like, what the fuck is this shit? So I don't know. It's just.
Hang on, Jose. I gotta write that down. Jose, not a fan of Dolly Parton. I gotta make sure I'm putting in my Palm Pilot right now because we got to get this right. Even though
I am. But
Mr. Rojas
for the stylist to get over those humps.
Yes, Jolene, arguably the best Dolly Parton record there is. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because all the other ones, nobody knows them.
Wow.
You don't know 9 to 5? Get out of here.
Yeah, 9 to 5.
You don't know that
What is
that
this shit?
Burning House, that disco record?
You think I'm gonna
Backwoods
know
Barbie? Come on, Backwoods Barbie. You don't know that one, Jose? Come on.
the fuck is this shit?
Wow. All right. Well, we've beat this one up enough. Now Arnaldo's back. Thank goodness. Arnaldo presented this one in our big powwow we have each week when we're cooking the ideas, letting them permeate. This is a democracy. Surface Noise is a democracy. Meeting. Yeah, David was in the hospital, so David, we couldn't figure that one out. So Arnaldo brought up this one. When it comes to record collecting, is it an artifact or is it the sound? What is the driving force behind collecting? Arnaldo, is that you kind of give us a little context of where this one came from?
Well, it came from our exchange when I saw your video about your hunt for the Nick Drakes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for watching. It was a hard-hitting video where I'm just basically saying I want to buy old records. So
I got two of them.
Oh, well, shit, Jose, we got to talk. But anyway, Arnaldo, so please continue.
So, yeah, I mean, you were interested in getting first pressings, I'm assuming the UK ones, right?
Correct.
Of the Nick Drake, which I had contemplated for many, many years because Nick Drake is one of my favorite. And it's only 3 records, so it's really doable. But when you look at the prices,
dude,
it's ridiculous. And plus, they're really hard to find in the United States. So you have to rely on someone that's on Discogs or on eBay and whatever kind of grading that they're going to subjectively give to the record. So on top of spending all that money, you may not be satisfied with the end purchase, right?
Sure.
So when it comes to things like that, I wonder, yes, I love Nick Drake. Yes, I would love to have first pressings, the pink rim ones, right? I think they're called Island Pink Rim. But do I really want to spend all that money? And is there something that's comparable in terms of sound? Because I do have reissues, the later reissues, which I believe, I think 1 or 2 of them are actually directly from the tape. But that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Or can I find something that is as good as the very first pressing, where I'm basically buying only the artifact when I get the first pressing? Therefore, I did some research and I settled on the Fruit Tree box set, which collects. It was done in, I think, the mid and late 70s. There were 2 editions of it.
Right on call. Tim University of Vinyl. Just get the Fruit Tree box. Boom. Oh, and on cue, we've got a prop.
And eventually I did.
Excellent.
Get the Fruit Tree box, and they sound excellent. Will I ever know if they're as good as the very first pink island, the Pink Rim Island? I don't. But from the information and the research that I did, they're pretty close. So see, even Tim, University of Vinyl, kind of confirms it. So it comes down to that's the other version.
Yes.
I don't remember. I think yours comes before mine because yours, I almost bought that in Italy, the one you're holding up, Jason, the blue one. But it doesn't come with the extra album, which this one
Correct.
does. So that's why I passed on that one, and I ended up getting this one, which maybe yours is probably what, 1976, and I think this was maybe 78 or early 80s. Maybe it's 80s because it's from Hannibal. So yeah, so that was my thought process in the purchase of a Nick Drake. Maybe one day at a record fair somewhere in Europe, I will stumble across and I'll get lucky, or maybe, I don't know. You never know what you can stumble across, right?
This is very true.
But on the flip side, I will have to say one more thing. Something that I actually bought because I wanted the artifact. I wanted the first pressing of the Ramones record, the one with the misprint. And I had a Chris Bellman reissue, which supposedly was an all analog reissue that everyone swore by, and sounded okay. I figured, oh, it's a punk record. It's supposed to sound like this. But when I put this one on, there was no comparison. And within a day, I just listed the old copy on Discogs. So sometimes the artifact is equivalent to great sounding music, to the great sound, right? And sometimes it's just an artifact where you can find something that sounds as good, whether it's a reissue or a later pressing, that makes you wonder, do I really need the artifact? But everything goes out the window when you're talking about your favorite artist, right? So personally, for me, all of my Smiths records are first UK pressings, and there I hunt the artifact because that's the collector, the completist in me kicks in, right? Where even if the artifact has all the songs that I already have in other issues and other reissues, and maybe may not sound as good, it's part of the collection. So
yeah, I think one thing that
but also no to the artifact, depending on the case.
yeah, no, I agree with that. One reason I thought this was a good topic is like one thing that drew me into collecting 15 years ago was the fact that it was an artifact. It was obviously the personal connection of that's how I grew up consuming physical music and that sort of thing. But then the fact that when you start learning some of the stories behind the music, behind the recordings, when I heard about the universal fire and things being lost forever, lost to time, etc., then that also engages a different part of my collect. Obviously, I want to hear my favorite artists. Obviously, I want to collect all their stuff. Obviously, I ideally you like the best sounding pressing, and the chase to pursue that as another branch of the collecting tree. But for me, like that video we're talking about, I enjoy the music. I enjoy the Nick Drake. I enjoy the Towns, plays Foley, all the stuff I talked about. Even the Beatles. I talked about the Beatles in the video for the first time. 3 years in to the vinyl community, I finally dropped the B word. But the reality is, I also thought of it from a collectability standpoint. It's hard to find. Like you said, Arnaldo, these things they're getting monopoly money silly. But also, these things are over 50 years old. And I've been kind of joking behind the scenes when I've been talking to people about this, but the only way to get these things, if you don't act now, and I know I'm probably creating competition here, but you either get them now or you're going to pay the didn't get it soon enough tax, or you're got to wait for people to start dying off the olds and hope that things resurface in these stores. And then you're going to be paying extra for that. So either way, you're paying more if you don't act now. I know that sounds like a terrible infomercial way to look at it, but I think it's true. So Alex, I see you nodding there. What do you think about this? Do you collect? Obviously, you collect what you want to hear. Talking about the Badfinger stuff, we were talking off camera a little bit about that. But also, do you collect because it's a preservation thing for you? Like, walk us through your psyche collector.
Yeah, so I think, and Arnaldo kind of alluded to this, a lot of it does depend on not only the artist and how connected we are to the artist, but I think also, the genre of music it is in a certain extent, right? So, like, obviously, I would love to have, like, all original Blue Notes. Like, that'd be amazing, right? But, like, no, like, the way this nonprofit set up, not going to work. So, like, I recognize I may in my life have a few of them, a handful of them. But if I'm someone who's, like, really getting into jazz, I have next to no I have next to no appeal to only going out and finding these original, like, you know, $400 or $500 to $5,000 records or whatever. Like, no, like, I don't know. I'll be the clown that goes on, you know, Sound of Vinyl and buys my Blue Note Classics for $12.90. You know what I mean? Like, because to me, it's, you know, yes, they sound great and all those different things, but for me, that's a way to get that album in my collection in a way that financially makes sense. Now, all that to say, if there's a Blue Note Classic title for, you know, $25, and there's an original Blue Note title that's worth $1,000, but I see it for $150, then am I like, well, you know what I mean? Like the artifact and the, you know, those things might start kind of colliding, right? So I think it does depend on the artist, how tied we are to it, all that different stuff, right? Like I have an RL Zeppelin 2 that
flex time. It's a flex time.
But, you know, but for me, that was, I got it for $40. So it was like, well, okay, you know what I mean? Like if it was $400, no. If it was even $100, probably not, just because it's great. It's just not, I would rather buy, you know, 4 records for $100 than 1. So, but that is me. I, based on what I collect in the music I am into, though, to me, it's the artifact thing. It is the physical. Obviously, it's the physical part of it. But there are certain things that I get more excited about than others. Like, I love opening up a sleeve and like seeing that somebody wrote something like ridiculous on like the inner cover or like on the insert. Like I've gone through stuff where like I found like divorce letters like shoved inside.
There's actually an Instagram handle. Have you seen that? Things I found in records. Have you seen that handle?
No, I'll have to though.
It's exactly what you're talking about. People put some weird shit in there, but anyway, please.
Yeah, and so like I don't know. You know, I love like the promo copies of things that have like the radio station identifiers just like sharpied all over the front. Like I'm like, that's cool to me. Like there's a story to be told with this record. But that's just something that is personal for me. And I'm not a you know, audiophile or whatever. Yes, I care about sound quality, but I mean my system's mediocre at best, and so I don't know that I'd be able to tell an adequate difference anyway. But I think also, buddy, you make an interesting point that how much of our purchasing decisions are truly based on what we want, how passionate we are about it, or versus sort of like if I don't buy it now, it's going to cost twice as much in 5 years. Like I always use this is like my contrarian kind of thing, right? Like the MoFi one step of Abraxas, right?
Yep.
Like that's like what, a $1,500 piece?
Yeah, 15 to 2,000. Yep.
Is that record worth $1,500 in sound quality?
Sure.
Or is that worth $1,500 because there's a bunch of goons on YouTube that say that it's that good?
Wow. Now hang on. Who are we calling goons, Alex? We gotta be
right now. I'm saying, like, if everybody and their brother on YouTube is like, that's the best sounding record in the history of the world, it's worth $1,500. Then people are gonna be like, that's a $1,500 record, and things are worth whatever people are willing to pay for them.
That's right. Yes.
Thank you. You know, it's like it's worth what people are willing to pay for it. But I'm sitting there, I'm going like, yeah, but what is that worth in terms of quality? Is it because, yeah, if something was a $1,500 record and I can own it for $1,500, like that, I guess that feels good. I don't know that I get $1,500 of listening enjoyment out of it,
Sure.
But that's different for everybody too. So yeah, I think that plays into it as well.
All right, now Jose, I know you're chomping at the bit.
No,
Do you approach any of your collection as preserving an artifact or something that you think that it's one of a kind or not to be duplicated, often imitated, never replicated? Where does that even factor into any of your decision tree when you're buying records?
well, funny you should ask. I'm actually enrolling myself back in university at the mid.
University of Vinyl, we've got a new enrollee. Tim, get the welcome packet ready. We got him.
At least a hand job. But anyways, I'm probably gonna go back to university. I want to try to study a little bit of anthropology, music anthropology, because it's something I've been doing for last few years. But yes, I think mostly. I think that mostly I would say that the records that I've been trying to collect over the past few years have only been stuff from Latin America in general and other parts of the world, but mostly Latin America, to try to preserve records that I think should be properly digitalized, find master tapes, actually make good copies of, because, like today I got approached by someone that has the mastering rights for a very good free jazz record from here from Mexico. Um, and they were telling me that they just found the master tapes, blah, blah, blah. So when you go out of the realm of just buying fucking Steely Dan records, there's a beauty of holding something in your hands that you might be one of the only human beings that own it, because it was a band that only released so many records or blah blah blah, you know. But just in general, I think that as long as my all right.
Yeah, University of Miami says, Jose, I'm going to DM your tuition invoice tomorrow. So sorry, Jose.
Let me show you something. No.
Jose, you can pay in Steely Dan records. Just
I think that's acceptable commerce at the University of Miami. Steely Dan's, UHQRs, or classic records. I think, Tim, if I got that wrong, let me know in the comments.
Wait. I'm going. I want to show something.
Sounds like an attack on Kansas.
No,
all right, so show
it's
us.
really good.
No. For example, like I'll tell you, like one of my biggest ones last year was to get this record, which the cover is a piece of shit. It's called Vikings in Spanish, Vikings, right? But this is a very hard to get record. Only 1 or 2 songs are on YouTube. It's a band from my country. The only copy available to purchase right now is $1,000. It's a very hard to get record, extremely rare. There's 2 U.S. pressings, and then there's a one from El Salvador. And I've been trying to get one of their records reissued for the longest time, and I just started talking with the son of the only guy that's still alive from the band, it just it becomes like a part of, like, I guess, anthropology, just preserving the records, trying to digitalize them, clean them up, and all that. I know people here fucking hate digital steps, but my God, that's all you're gonna have in 40, 50 years from now. So you have to make sure you got a good digital copy of it, because sooner or later, all these records that people really love, they're all AAA. They won't be able to be AAA. And, some people, just by storing the record and not listening to them at all, make someone 30 years from now enjoy a record that they actually love, that it's preserved in the right way. And I have a lot of stuff like that. I'm working on a reissue of this record, which is like a...
what is that, Jose? What's the title?
It's En Voz Baja, on low voice or whatever.
By Rolando Chia?
Rolando Chia, yeah. He was a guitar player from Mexico. Never got reissued. Never. It's not on Spotify. It is on YouTube. You've never heard this record. You will never find this record. But it's just a very nice guitar record that is worth it. But seeking it out is basically just my way of, like, I was talking with the artist, and he was like, "Oh, like, thanks for reminding me that record exists." And I'm trying to get a reissue. Another record he released only in cassette, that it's not even on Discogs. So I think that it is nice to sometimes what is it? But I don't understand.
Oh, Jose, we got a question. This is Jefferson to Blind. He has the channel. Says, you're not wrong, Jose, but I don't understand why they can't do a 1-to-1 dub at the same time. How do you feel about this?
Well, again, I think that because you have an American mind and you're only thinking that everything is Purcell an assault mine, that's great. But most people like me that come here from Latin America, master tapes are nowhere to exist, if at all they exist anymore. Artwork, it's nowhere to be found. It's hard to get everything pressed. When you buy some of those like African reissues, if you get like Fela Kuti reissues and you see the cover looking like shit, you're like, oh, why don't they clean it up? They probably not, because you won't find it. It's the artwork, it's gone. The fucking thing looks like shit, and it's just it's impossible. So for most of these records, you're gonna get needle drops. You're gonna get like 20 different needle drops put in together like a Frankenstein.
Don't worry, because AI is going to fix everything. It's going to fix the artwork. It's going to fix the music, everything.
It's going to put us out of work.
All that's going to be fixed by AI.
But again, I understand that people are like, oh, I want my AAA jazz records, which is great. But again, not every country has that possibility.
Yep.
And not every release has that possibility. And sometimes if you do love a record that you're really into, owning a very clean copy, it is a way of preserving a type of history, a legacy of an artist that's no longer, widely available.
Sure. Lost to time. Yeah. Yep.
And for example, Sony reissued some Argentinian records, and one of the records has a digital skip, like it was a CD master or some shit like that, and they had to cut the intro of a song. So now it's like you only can get that intro of the song on the original pressing, and then it becomes all this like, then why the fuck are they doing it, right? Just do something else. But such a big label like Sony, they were just like, fuck it, just release that shit. Because, most people just want to own the record, which is what happens mostly if you go to a record store and if you see only new stuff. Most young people only want that. It's like, vinyl me, please. Somebody said it in the chat earlier on. It's weird they're trying only to appeal to 65-year-old men on vinyl me, please, when most people that buy vinyl of me, please, are probably like 20 years old.
Now, Jose, that's a great segue. I'm gonna cut you off because we've got a 65-year-old man here. His name is David Bianco. David, where do you land on this? Because obviously you've been collecting your whole life, and so
I don't even remember what the hell the topic is. It's been so freaking long. Anyway, artifact or sound? Okay.
Yeah. So where do you stand on it? Because obviously you're one of the few that never really got off of vinyl, right?
My whole collection is an artifact. I have both. I mean, I have a lot of things that are unique because of when I bought them, but a lot of what I buy now is to see if the sound can be bested. And I just want Jose to know the reason we don't send master tapes to Mexico is because of the cartel. But anyway,
I'm glad
we're not going to get them back. We'll never get them back. So, for me, it's a mix of those. I really do nowadays listen, because most of what I buy is older stuff that was made, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and early 90s. So for me, I'm really doing a lot of sound comparison now as opposed to artifact saving, because I've got most of what I want in that job. Sure. Yeah.
I like it. Perfect.
That's a nice, short, concise answer. See that, guys? Okay.
And then I was going to go to Jason, but Jason, I think there he is.
Oh, there he is.
I'm closing with you on this for a couple of reasons. One, you've been collecting records longer than me and probably some of the other people on the dais, other than David Bianco, because I said 65-year-old. So where do you land on this? Because obviously you've been collecting at a time when records were easily sourced, easily acquired, and I say easily because you've told the story many times about free records that you've gotten. You've gotten a lot of dollar bin things that are obviously worth more than $1 now. So are you moved on to kind of where David is, that you're more chasing good sounding records? Because you've bought some winners and you've bought some not so winners. You've done your shootouts, all that kind of stuff. So is the artifact even a part of the equation for you?
Similar to David, I'm not as old as David, but I've been around the block, hopefully. Collecting wise, yes, this is an artifact. I don't care what anybody says,
Hey, first of all, that Milli Vanilli record says Dr. J. Did Julius Irving own that? Is that a Julius Irving personal copy?
That's right. Yes.
I had to ask. Sorry, I had to ask.
But I mean, so yeah, I'm similar to David now. Now I'm sort of just listening. I don't know if I'm trying to find the best pressing. I'm trying to find maybe the one that fits for me, And
let me ask you. I'm gonna grill you on that one. So sure. Why would the best sounding not be the one for you?
Maybe because it doesn't fit the musicality of the record, perhaps,
so
or the feeling of the record.
So if maybe I'm thinking of this wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. When you're talking about the television reissue they did, is that kind of what you're talking about? Like the Kevin Gray version, it sounded a lot different than you believe that the artist intent. Is that kind of where you're coming from with that comment?
Yes, partially. I mean, I think, what do you call it? Smoothing out the edges on that television, kind of hurt that record, in my opinion. Right. Sure. And, I think if somebody wanted to listen, if you've never heard the record, you might even think that the Kevin Gray version is the best version, right? If you were not familiar, right? It all depends on your viewpoint or how your perspective of looking at that artifact, right? And I get it too. A lot of people in the chat are saying the same thing. And what Alex said too, I can't afford $150 Blue Note, Alex wasn't collecting them when I would see them for $1 or $5.
You're rubbing our face, and I knew you were.
I get it, and that's why I always recommend, if Alex ever comes down to Texas, let's hook up. Let's hear some of these $150 Blue Notes that you want to listen to.
I want to say that to Chance that I fucked up. They're not the UK, but they're the US first pressings of these.
Oh, of the Nick Drake records. Oh yeah, listen.
I'll tell you something. You know how much I pay for them?
$5.
Nothing.
Wow.
So I'll take them for nothing too.
Are you saying you stole them? Is that an implication that this was theft? Is that
no? So I went to see
tomatoes with the lady.
No, I went to see. I fucked her. No, really. I went to see a collection. I went to see a collection. And the guy was like, "Well, I'm only going to sell the whole collection if you pay the whole shit. You have to buy the whole thing." And I was like, "Well," so I brought a friend. He was like, "Hey, this guy has money. I don't got that much kind of cash." And he was like, "Well, I'm gonna check the collection, blah blah blah." And I made a pile of 20 records I really wanted. And I told that guy, "Hey man, just fucking sell me this shit, right?" The Judy Sales that I have is also from that collection. And my friend, he was like, debating. He was not gonna buy it. He was just debating how much money would it be necessary to buy this shit. And the guy, he felt like my friend was really gonna buy the collection, so he just told me, "You know what? This is just whatever for me. Just fucking get it. Just it's free. It's a sample. Just fucking get that shit out here and enjoy it." We never came back, and I left with 20 records. And I fucked up because there were some Smith stuff that I saw, a lot of Harold Budd stuff that I don't even have anymore.
Yeah, was that named Harold Butt? B-U-T? Is that what you just said?
Harold Budd. You don't know Harold Budd?
No, I don't. I know Harry Butt, but I don't know Harold Butt. David, that was a joke. That was a David Bianco joke. That was my David Bianco tribute. Joke.
I'm not surprised, but I'm scared of people.
Oh, Bud. I thought you said Bud. I thought you said
Harold Budd.
Oh, Bud. Oh shit.
Yeah. One of the ever also great stuff for ambient music.
Yuck. All right, well, guys, I think we've hit our quota on the time. We want to, obviously, if you've been here before to Surface Noise, we kind of cut it off. We break it off proper. where we will do the focused stuff. We got some content. We got some questions to kind of tackle on the freestyle that's a little organized. But I thank my guests. Obviously, I'm going to start off with the guest. Second appearance, hopefully is not his last appearance. Alex, Beer and Vinyl is the channel. Alex, great to have you on, sir.
Thank you. Good to be here. Thank you.
And then I think you know him. You've heard of him. Jason Rojas. Thank you for joining us.
I didn't finish because Jose had to interrupt me, but the artifact, of course, is always going to be the real deal, right?
So you got to flex on the Leuven brothers. I figured that.
Right, and the reissue, thankfully it wasn't mastered by Kevin Gray, but it still doesn't compare to the.
What reissue? The Light in the Attics one?
Yeah, I think this is Light in the Attic. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I have that. I know that song when it's on.
And then obviously you just saw a little fraction of the friendship. Jason calling out Jose Moreno Ron for cutting him off. Jose, thank you for joining us. Arnaldo, you know him. He actually had there's a great new series. I'm going to give you a quick plug, Arnaldo. You told me about it when we were visiting in New York, but he just started a new series, debuted today on the Fidelios_frequency channel of album covers and where they were shot in New York. A great idea. I told you back when you told me about it months ago, and now it's come to fruition. That's why you're wearing a T-shirt in your video. I want to be very clear. It was filmed months ago.
That was like that was done in the summer. That's why I had a T-shirt on.
Yeah. So Arnaldo, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Concert Buddy.
And then the medical marvel, the man who cheated death and lived to tell a shootout afterwards. That's David Bianco, Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursion. David, thank you for cheating death, joining Surface Noise this week, and all the above.
So much easier to be on a live show than a dead one. Thanks, James.
Wow.
Whoa, man.
You need to drop
Great. Whoa. Can you believe that? Wow. That was intense. All right. So, guys, now I got to do what we call the scene change. We're going to do the scene change with this and that. And bing, bong, boom, bomb. I got to change the wardrobe. Let's go with... we're almost a smooth operation. Where's my stuff? And it's right. It's not there. All right, freestyle. As I'm looking for my art. Pow. I got to take the banner off. Freestyle time. I want to thank everybody for sticking around. I like the view count. We're really pushing it. I mean, we may push triple digits. We're a small but mighty little live stream. So tell your friends, tell your mama's friends, tell the haters. Tell the debaters.
Hit the like button, guys. We got
hit the like button. Even the Bleach Boys hit
and only 28 liking.
The Bleach Boys hit that dislike button because I know you're all sitting around in your tidy whities hating me right now. Hit that dislike button because it's all the same. Gets that check.
Hey, fuck! Is that Marvin Gershowitz in the comments?
I saw Marvin Gershowitz. I've been seeing him around.
Whoa.
He is back. He is back to just fuck shit up, Marvin. I want to tell you personally, good to see you.
Austin's own.
Yes. Oh, I didn't even know that part. Wow. Look at that. New information. All right. Freestyle, guys. This is where shit can get real weird real quick. But let's kind of kick it off in a smooth but delicate way. Jason Rojas, this was your suggestion. Advice to buying or selling vinyl in 2025. What made you suggest this in the suggestion box this week?
Well, I just think it'd be a start of a new year, and we would try, the panel, right? We would try to help some people, we'd start new, I mean, trolls will be trolls. That's never going to disappear. But why don't we do something positive,
Definitely not.
Hang on a second. I got to take my... Is this... Jason, is this you? the positive, my man. I can't... Oh, my God. This is the big one.
I'm going to join you, honey.
Oh my God! All right, so Jason, let's continue the positive tip. What is one piece of advice you would give to somebody who is buying vinyl this year or selling vinyl this year? We'll start there.
Don't follow your VC leaders. Watch your parking meters. Right? You do you. If someone's gonna make fun of you for buying Milli Vanilli, forget them. You do you. right?
Me personally, would I buy a Milli Vanilli record? Absolutely the fuck no.
Wow, this is the
Wow.
fraying of the friendship continues. These guys are going to go at it by the end of the show. I'm sorry to
But
Right.
but if somebody said, "Hey, you know what? I just found out that Milli Vanilli was secretly Eddie Van Halen," I'll be like, "Still don't give a fuck."
Like, I just say, like, follow your instincts, you know? Of course, you can be influenced by, you know, videos on Vinyl Community, but you don't have to buy what they're trying to sell. You know, you get on your record journey, like, whatever that is, you know? Like,
Can I add a piece to that?
Sure.
Trial and error is okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm still making errors. I got to be honest. I haven't been in the game as long as Jason, but I still make errors. I talk about them on this program. It's okay to stub your toe, but you got to learn from it. That's
well, I mean, I think we live in the 21st century. Like, you could stream it before you buy it, you know,
Yes,
like,
It's
and
really smart.
right, be smart, right? So, like, I wasn't really familiar with this Dillard's record. I think this is from 67, I think, or 66. But I actually enjoyed the hell out of this. Like, you know, they covered Harry Nilsson on here, like Rainmaker, and it just was phenomenal. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, and it was only $2. Like, I'm all game for it, you know. And I think it's okay to take risks as long as it's below
The
10,
Diddlers?
you know?
The name of the band is the Diddlers? Fuck it.
No, the Dillards.
Oh, the Dillards.
Dillard's, like the department store.
Yes.
Oh, I thought the Diddlers. You know, like
Jose,
yeah.
isn't that where you stole those Nick Drake records from? The Dillards? And come on, man.
Like,
the Diddlers.
and this was also $2. I love this record. Like, I've forgotten how great this
Oh,
is.
Isley
This is
Brothers from St. Louis, brother. Come on now. Yes, sir.
Between the Sheets, you know, this was that
look at that
sample,
silk.
right?
Look at
Light
that.
the power. Light the power.
Somebody
Yeah.
had like unhinged sex on that silk. Yeah.
So I think, like, just things like you can just buy them. Like, I know most people are, you know, they don't know this record, right? But if you love that kind of smooth R&B, right? I mean, the title's called Between the Sheets. So I wonder what's going on there. you
Listen,
know?
people have slept on the Isley Brothers for a long time. They got distracted by just how intimidating Ron Isley looked. But I'm telling you, if you go back, sampled by a lot of hip hop artists, but man,
Yep.
if it's time to get down, Freaky Town, put on the Isleys, bro. I'm telling you, seals the deal.
Like, I'm basically off the radar. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
buying any more reissues.
Why
per
did-
se, you know?
Kimbo's right. Run that under a black light. He's damn right.
Oh my gosh.
Why was Wyoming Dave super excited at the Diddlers or whatever the name?
I don't know. Wyoming Dave is really excited. He used about 32 exclamation points there. So I'm not
I've never seen him so excited.
I don't know. Is it because of that gentleman with the wonderful mustache who's holding the pole? Is that?
Well, this is like early country rock, like before the Eagles and the Flying Burritos were hitting it big, right? This band was attempting this, but they didn't get the coverage.
One of
You
those
know?
part of the what is it? Dillard and Clark? What's the name of
Yes.
that? one of
So
those?
yeah, Doug Dillard isn't on the record because he quit to join Gene Clark.
Okay, so it's the same guy.
Yes, but his brother still continued the band, the Dillards. It's just one Dillard though, but I don't want to get.
So
into
it should
that.
be the Dillard then. It should be the plural.
That's correct. That is correct.
David, we have a David Bianco impressionable joke from Vinyl and Kicks 86. He says, like P. Diddler. Like P. Diddler.
P. Diddler.
P. Diddler.
That was a
It'll- Diddle with your peas.
Listen, I'm trying to give everybody equal play here, guys. And I just want to call this out because we've never done this before. Just pushed 100 viewers. So thank you. This is new charted territory. I know there's other bigger live streams.
Thank you, Steve Westman.
Thank you, Westman, for not streaming today. The Civil War, we're at a truce. We're at armistice right now.
Wait, the Diddlers are from Boston?
The Diddlers pushed us over the 100 viewer
Massachusetts.
threshold. Amazing. The Dillards. The Diddlers.
That's
and the
because Wyoming Dave called all his friends.
it must be. He called them out. All right. Well, good feedback, Jason. That's a good way to kick this off. So I'm going to go to David Bianco because I can't. You were pulling up the rear unintentionally in the first part of the program. I'm starting off beginning of the rear. If that makes sense. What advice would you give to collectors in 2025 from the buying or selling point of view?
I'd say on the buying point of view, the first thing is there are no broad norms. In other words, every record is done independently, the mastering, and you have to judge them. You can't always say that, let's say, a Bernie Grunman is going to be the best, or a Kevin Gray is always going to be the worst, or MoFi is going to be the best, and an AP is going to be whatever it is. You have to really get to where do you feel comfortable in your purchases. Like the Fragile review really shows that a $25 record, even though it didn't win the top, it definitely, for a value standpoint, was the best value, unless you really, really want the top copy of that record. So, I would say, and the other thing is figure out who seems to be closest to what you experience. In other words, if someone said, I think this is the best, or this, and you go over some of those and then say, how similar are the findings that I have that it really met my expectations? Because there's, a lot of different opinions out there. Now on the selling side, like I'm going to be selling probably at least half of my collection in 2025.
Oh, shit.
I have a lot of duplicates. And I have a lot of records that I don't listen to that much. And so I'd rather, pay it forward and put them out there for people in the VC. So, like Tim, University Vinyl, just sold some of his on his Instagram page. Yes. I thought it was a pretty cool, quick way to do it. Obviously, most of the people he interacts with and knows. So, find good paths to get these two people who are going to enjoy them. And, if you sell it to somebody, they flip it, they always have that choice. But if that's what they're in it for, that's not really who I want to sell something to.
David, is there a vetting process? Is there a questionnaire that these buyers are going to be required to fill out when it comes to making a deal? I just have to ask.
I usually have background checks on them ahead of time, so it's really not a problem.
Putting the safe and sound Texas audio.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it. All right. Well, let's go to, we're going to pass the rock. Alex is still here. Thank you, Alex. I'm glad you didn't desert us. Some of these guests we have, they're just here for the limelight in that first hour, and then they just straight up peace out on the show.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't, you'll never have me again, buddy, on here. No, because I don't know. I'd like to think I represent a little bit of some contrarianism amongst all these hundreds of people that you have watching. Congratulations, you're welcome. But there's a YouTube channel I used to watch. I'm not a whiskey drinker, but one of the best YouTube channels out there that's not related to music or vinyl or anything at all is a Whiskey Tribe. And they're just like these two dudes that are just like amazing. But the idea is like that's another kind of hobby that is like very smug and very like, and they would always ask like, and they would always say of like, what's the best whiskey? What's the best whiskey? And the response is, it is the whiskey you want and the way you want it. And like, I firmly, like, truly believe this hobby is the exact same way of like, what's the best record? And it's like, it's the one that you want and the way you want to play it. And I think a lot of it too is recognizing that us, these people that are on YouTube talking about these things, we represent such a small and like very, very finite representation of the greater vinyl market. And Correct. So I think a lot of times, like, we have these conversations and there's 100 people watching, which is amazing. But the reality is I think a lot of people who are wanting to get into jazz might be buying the $15 wax titles or whatever they're called, right? Like the ones that people are like, don't buy those. And so I don't know. I would say in terms of buying and selling, it's, I don't know. Like, to me, the advice is always, and it kind of goes with what like Jason was saying, is like, I don't think like the right answer is whatever you want to do and whatever you want to listen to. And like, I think we've, in a lot of ways, especially with so many different authentic and authority voices. I don't say authority in a bad way, but authoritative voices on YouTube in the community. Like, there's this sense of like, well, who's right? Like, is so-and-so right? Or is Jason right? Or is Buddy like, or it's who's right here? Like, everybody can't be right. And it's like, no, just buy the record. Even to like David's point is like, you know, it's funny, like he was talking about Fragile, and he's like, honestly, like the $25 one didn't win, but for the value, like what is Steel? And I'm sitting there, I was like, Yes is one of my favorite bands of all time. I'm good with my $5 original, you know, like that works for me too. And I think it can work for anybody. So it doesn't answer anything, but I do think genuinely it is the collection for you, or the buying and selling for you is whatever you want to do. But
Alex, we've got a contrarian opinion. This is Chris, the Groove Seeker. He says Rojas is always right. So we know Chris is now on the take. It was rumored that potentially there was some money exchanged in the B side, and now we know it to be true. So got him. All right, Arnaldo, where do you stand on this? Because I know you've got to have some thoughts on what kind of advice. I mean, because this is a very broad kind of conversation, only in the sense we've talked about it for like advice for a new collector, advice for someone new to YouTube, all those kind of things. But what's just a good tried and true thing that you would share from the buying or selling advice market?
I want to share the advice that I'm giving myself. So if I buy a reissue or if I buy an upgrade, keep only the one that you really want.
There you go.
Oh, a one. You're not, no more duplicates? Is that what
One and done.
One and done.
Are you going to, okay. If you're not Jose, who listens to his entire collection within a year, every year he listens to his entire collection. There are records in my collection that I haven't listened to in 10 years, right? So do I use...
I own it. Just sell it.
Do I use the rule of the wardrobe? If you haven't worn something in 2 years, you're never going to wear it again.
Breaking news. Hang on. We've got breaking news. Arnaldo, I hate to cut you off.
Who said that? Gary Bradshaw, who said that?
Hang on a second. Breaking
Breaking news.
But that is...
Arnaldo has now declared himself the Marie Kondo
of a collection. That is not to say that you can't have a collection, because everyone likes to collect something, right? Not necessarily you're going to listen to it, wear it. So when you're collecting records, it's totally fine to have a collection that you don't listen to, that you don't cycle through at least every 10 years. But I'm just sharing the advice that I'm trying to give myself, which is try to get rid of the duplicates and only keep the copy that I really want.
Is everyone sick? Arnaldo, are you sick? David, are you sick? University of Vine, everyone getting rid of records. I'm hearing a message from everybody. There's a massive offshoring of records that maybe I need to make a bigger list, because I'm going to come to you guys and see if I can.
We're killing our own channels.
This is literally death by 1,000 album jackets.
But there are exceptions. I will have duplicates of the artists that I really love, because again,
Sure.
Collector in me wants to be the completist as well. So, but I have duplicates of records that I really don't need duplicates of, right?
Right.
Follow-up question. Is this where we've gone wrong in the hobby with all these color variants? I'm just going to say the quiet part out loud, because Vinyl Me Please, going back to them again, not beating them up, but they are a provocateur of this movement. We don't need 40 different color variants of common titles. But it's been, I guess, positioned or leveraged that, especially with new people to the hobby, that this is the thing to get. Arnaldo, do you think that color variants have really muddied the waters?
To a degree, yes. When, you have fanatics that want every version of it, every variant of it, like the Taylor Swift fans. So yeah, and I'm or Lana Del Rey, with different covers, different colors. So
retail exclusives, yes.
Exactly. There are of course exceptions. Anyone can buy and spend their money the way they want. So if you want to buy 20 copies of Taylor Swift's The Tortured Poets Department, that's totally fine, right?
Okay.
Alex has got his finger up. This is serious business. Alex is pointing at you, Arnaldo.
This is the real bad finger video. So totally great. Basically what you're saying is like we just need the Amazon exclusive color for everything. Two, I will not put up with the Taylor Swift hate. No. because when we talk about alternative artwork or colors, all those different things, we always want to blame Taylor Swift or Lana or whoever else. No one wants to talk about In Through the Outdoor and how it came in a brown paper bag. And
A, B, C, D, E, F.
but Led Zeppelin. No one wants to talk, there's like 35 different covers of Synchronicity. You know, we don't blame them. We go after the young women, Arnaldo. Okay, I'm just kidding, but it's true. I mean,
No, but if Lana Del Rey's last record, I'm guilty of every cover variant that was put out, and maybe also.
Wait, who are you? Are you Mike from the Inger? What is this?
In a perfect world, both these albums are great. Both
right?
these albums are great in a perfect world, right?
Well, you're holding one. Actually, you're holding two things I have. You have the Badfinger 50th anniversary of that first. Buy it now because it's tremendous. And then you have the Warped. Every copy is Warped. Tortured Poets Department from Target that literally, if you've got a flat one, you're 1 in a million, literally. Unbelievable. Jose, you've been very patient, and I'm going to reward that patience with this. What is your piece of advice that you want to give our we've lost a little momentum. We're under 100, so Jose, you're going to bring us back to 100. For 100 potential people watching, and you've just adjusted your camera, you've adjusted your jacket to bring up the sex appeal. I appreciate that. Piece of advice that you would give somebody buying or selling vinyl in 2025?
I would say stop buying the fucking common titles, please, because I don't.
This sounds very similar to what you're saying in the beginning of the show. Redundancy, ease.
Yes, because it's like when you start to collect records and you think you have to buy Dark Side of the Moon. That shit will be in print
forever
after I fucking die. Like I'm really like I know that for a fact. So go out and stop buying $10 records, and then maybe perhaps just buy one $30 record instead of buying 3, or just save up a little bit and start buying the records you actually do want, and start getting records that are gonna be harder to get or whatever. And
we've done it. We've turned Norman Matlock heel. He says, "Stop wearing 1984 ski wear." Jose, this is a savage takedown. How do you respond?
Nasty, stop wearing fucking hats from 1812. There we go.
Yeah, from that war. That's the one. The
war the U.S. Lost.
I'm sorry. Back to our regular scheduled program.
Yes. But anyways, I would say that I don't even remember where I was.
Oh, you're just saying quit doing the same titles over and over.
And Purge. I think I am a huge purger. I sold like 300
so much purging
records last year, which was great. And I bought like 50 records I really wanted. 300 records out, 50 records I absolutely wanted that were more than $100. So you don't need that much records, and don't give into buying records just because you saw one of us motherfuckers up here buying it.
Be for yourself. I'm an influencer, man. Come on, this is.
I'm the opposite. I make people don't want to buy shit, and I'm happy about that. Yeah, all these records that I'm like having a hard time getting, I love it when people are like, "What the fuck is this shit?" And
people are paying you not to buy their records. That's a great. Yeah. I need to get on that train. That's awesome.
Yeah. But sell records, great records. This is supposed to be a community. If somebody in the VC wants a record, you have trade, sell, or do something with it. And you might end up with something you actually want, But and stop wearing hats from 1812. That's it.
Oh man! Oh no! This is
or ski wear from the 80s.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
This is actually from the video shoot for the Wham Christmas song. Yes.
I thought that was kind of giving Andrew Ridgely vibes. I didn't want to say it out loud, Jose, but
Yeah,
words out of my mouth. So.
I'm a fashionista, chance,
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, again, I've seen you without your shirt on, so I get it. But all right, well, I think we've karate chopped yet another topic. I did want to touch on something since it is the freestyle. And David, hopefully, I'm not speaking out of school here, but we're kind of we call it BSing before we going on here. And David had a tidbit that I think a lot of people want to hear. David, can you confirm what you shared with us that Acoustic Sounds website is getting updated? What can you tell us about
it? It is in process.
Wow. I mean, is there an ETA? I mean, is there, this is literally the end of dial-up. I mean, this is a big, big thing. Hang on. Speaking of, we've got some orders coming up real quick. Folks. Hang on a second. Those Pablos won't sell themselves. So, David, were you given a timetable or a ballpark when this is happening? Or
well, it's been in development for a while, and it's in the latter stages of beta. So that's what I can say.
I like it.
And it will definitely merge in all the normal things you would expect a site to be able to negotiate and navigate.
I wonder if they're gearing up to have the website not crash for a very important release that's coming up.
Well, the timing may have some thing to it, but it's been worked on. It's not like all of a sudden I'm going to do this release, so I got to get a new website up. It's been a known issue.
It may be coincidental.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're not gonna. Let's put it this way: if they got to release something on March 1st, they're not going to launch the site on February 25th just because that's coming up. It's not ready. You know what I'm saying? So they're really trying to get it right. I think, to be honest with you, the site can be newer, better, faster, but if the incoming lines and capability aren't uplifted as well, that's another part of the equation, as well. So maybe they're going to need more than 6 tin cans on each end of the string. I'm not sure, but
by the way, I got a new. Wait! I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna be back.
Oh no!
No, don't threaten us.
No, don't threaten us with a good time. Well, I'm gonna take. Thank you, David, for sharing that because that kind of slipped, and I was like, wow, that is something we should share with the masses. This is the program of record, at least for tonight. Now, I want to shout out my man, Ramon, Vinyl French Attic. How you doing, sir? Another thing. Oh, hang on. This is a good question. Tom, High Rank District asks, will there be a shootout between the old and new websites? Will it cost more to use the new website? That's a fair question, Tom. Stay tuned, I think, is the answer for that one. Stay tuned.
The shootouts are happening in beta as we speak.
So if I can turn it on the serious tip for a second, because and maybe I have a serious music. Let's see if I've got. I know I've got the sad music. I don't know if I have the serious music, so maybe I'll play the sad.
And that new jacket for you.
Oh no, Jose. Jose literally did a wardrobe change. I'm not even making this up. Look at this guy. This guy's straight out of the Fanatics catalog, page 85.
Boston. What a Boston Cubs. Make up your mind. Who are you for?
Unbelievable.
Oh, they're different. Well, I'm a Mets and Boston Red Sox because they're different leagues, so you can do it.
They are. You're right. That's not a Yankees in Boston. Yeah, you can't have that.
Yeah. You can't have that, yeah. Fuck the Yankees. Yeah.
So, Jose, thank you for the wardrobe change. So, anyway, I want to talk about something that some people on the dais know about. I know I've talked to Jason a little bit about this. There's a fellow record collector. This is, I don't know if it's Kindness Corner, but maybe it's Kindness Corner. We'll see. But his name's Scott Dudelson, and his handle on Instagram is All Day Vinyl. I'll put all this in the thing if you want to look at it.
Oh yeah, I saw him. Yes.
But yeah, so there's an article floating around. Well, before that, if you follow him on Instagram, I believe he's a photographer. I think that's his profession, but he even has a podcast called Legends. I actually went and checked it out. But anyway, he was one of the unfortunate folks affected by the wildfire or the fires out in California. He was actually one of the first people. He lost his home in the Palisades. Lost, I think it was over 6,000 records. I mean, he had a fat ass collection. And and the worst part was, I mean, he's literally documenting it in real time. Like all this stuff was boxed up because he's moving to another house, I think, over by Pepperdine. And long story long, house burned down, lost his records, big mess. But there was an article in the LA Times kind of talking about that. And here's why I bring it up for us, because people are sending Scott records in mass. I think it's, and kind of this is what I was going to bring this up, because Jose talked about what the community should do. Community, if you got doubles, you should be hooking people up. This is one of those things, and full transparency, I sent Scott a box of records myself, but this is the sad and also brilliant part of the community, because this guy lost literally thousands of records.
6,000.
Yeah, 6,000. He kept the real good stuff.
A few hundred.
Yeah, a few hundred. I think he even had some of it, like his ex-wife's house. So anyway, a real mess. Yeah. I'm going to put the links to the LA Times thing and his Instagram. Super nice guy. I've kind of chatted with him offline about how to get him some stuff or whatever. But I would highly encourage you guys, check the story out, check his account out. I'm not saying you have to do anything, but man, if you got a heart and you've got some extra records lying around, like there's nothing wrong with throwing this guy some goodwill. And I know, for example, when Steve Carlson, he was on the program, Steve Carlson got his whole basement, his whole collection basically tainted with a flood that happened when he lived in Michigan. That's how I got to know Steve. I didn't even know about him on his channel. I wasn't even on YouTube at the time. I was just watching. I was a big creep lurker. And I think it was Mazzy that was talking about him, or somebody. Multiple people talked about Steve. I got to know Steve through that, sent him some records. And that, to me, like Jose said, that's what a community should do, is help people when they need help, even if they don't want it. There was another guy, I believe his name is Brian McPherson. He was a record collector. He's also on, I think he's on Instagram. I forget the account. He's I think he's an entertainment lawyer.
Yeah.
I think Wax talked about him. There's a GoFundMe for him. Anyway, these kind of things are the things that kind of give.
Chili B, is it? Is that
yeah. Chili B Carne, I think, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So
good guy. Yeah.
Yeah, good guy. Again. This isn't just like, oh, you guys follow record collectors on Instagram. Guilty as charged. But it's tough sledding out there, and you hate to see this happen to anybody. So I saw Jason put a link probably to his Instagram. This is a link to the LA Times article. Yeah, right here. But anyway, so Kindness Corner. Think about it, read about it, maybe reach out to the guy. Even if you just leave a comment on some of his posts, say something nice. You know what I've learned over the years? Kindness is free. Doesn't cost anything to be nice and to be kind. And so anyway, that's today's dad lecture, courtesy of Concert Buddy at Surface Noise here in full effect. All right, last thing. I think we got about 20 minutes left. Freestyle. We talk about the cost of records, and I don't want to get political, but it's kind of a political topic. We have a new president here in the United States, and he's talked a lot about tariffs. And I'm just curious, I wanted to check the Deus's pulse on this, because if these tariffs go into effect, and I don't know, I mean, I've heard North America, I've heard all this stuff. Do you think this is going to have effect on record collecting? Because you have plants importing from, you got GZ, you've got MPO, you've got the record industry in Netherlands. There's so many pressing plants outside of the United States. I'm assuming tariffs potentially could affect that and drive the cost of records up. What, David, what say you? I know you're probably closer to this than I am.
Well, I'd said in my year prediction, and it wasn't related to this topic at all, fact of the tariffs, but there would be a rationalization in the industry because of oversupply. But what this will really do is cause a situation where countries might want to buy within their own country and not have to take on that cost. So that would cause a situation where the cost wouldn't necessarily go up, but where they get it from would change. That would be what I would say.
That's not feasible, because U.S. production on almost all industries are way more expensive than doing it overseas. Like, if you press records at JC, they're way cheaper than if you press them at any record pressing plant in the United States.
At where? GZ?
GZ Media, yeah. Yep.
Yes. It does,
it depends on the volume.
I'll tell you, Yeah, well, if I press 500 copies in JC, the price that I paid, I couldn't even pay 100 and 200 other pressing plants in the United States, because I've tried it and you can't do it. Even with international shipping from Europe to the United States, coming down all the way to Mexico, it's still cheaper to produce in Europe than having here. Number two, there's a lot of companies like Sony and Warner that are pressing their cover. Even Rhino, Hi-Fi, the covers are being done here in Mexico. So all you guys are gonna get a little tariff on that, because what are gonna they do? Just pay the tariff? Of course not. They're gonna change. The price is gonna go up, and you're gonna eat that cost. It doesn't work like people think it's gonna work. And if you do press that, you start doing Stoughton again. They do have a limit. That's why a lot of big companies stop doing Stoughton, because I'm trapped in the Massey filter, by the way.
I was wondering. This is like a very like old timey thing. Like I'm expecting like some tumbleweeds to fly around. Yeah. So Arnaldo, I saw you. Well, Jose, I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish your point.
No, I'm just saying, like, the cost of things are going to go up because Americans won't do the fucking job unless they get paid this amount of money. As most everybody else is just like, well, I'll do it.
So Arnaldo, I saw you. Arnaldo, I saw you nodding your head.
That's certainly not the case in Europe. They won't just do the job because
but they are not nuts. They don't go like, hey, you know what? People are going to pay like triple the amount of money, because in the U.S. it's just like, well, it's U.S. made, so we gotta.
You got a real problem, dude.
But in Europe, they don't give a what the fuck. Yeah, it's
Arnaldo,
true.
You got it, Arnaldo. I'm curious Arnaldo's take on this. Is this something that's you're hearing in your world about any kind of production decisions, sourcing?
Yeah, well, we're pricing out a box set for an artist, and the person who's gathering quotes, because it's an artist whose audience is primarily US based, the box set is being produced in Europe, because even with the shipping, it'll cost less to produce it in Europe than to have it done in the United States. And that's the reason why a lot of box sets and this is a word to the wise, they're a huge undertaking, and once they're gone, the vinyl box sets, they will not come back. So
I'm glad you brought up box sets, because Dom was here earlier. Hopefully he's still here. Seeking a Thread, great channel, great guy. He was talking about like his recommendation for advice to collectors. Purging, you got to do it and avoid box sets. So that made me think of that, because box sets in my own particular situation taking up a lot of space. So I didn't mean to derail that, but I mean, I know Arnaldo, you and I have talked about that, because they're nice. And in some cases you get the exclusives, but cost considerations, space considerations, etc. But anyway, has anything, Arnaldo, has there been any talk about potential tariffs and how that may affect moving production at all? I'm just curious.
Well, most of the production comes from Europe, and right now there is I think sometimes, isn't there a Precision in Canada? Isn't there a Precision?
Yeah, it's called Quality Pressings. Yes.
No, Precision. I think they have also a plant in Canada. But as far as
they do,
as far as Europe is concerned, as long as there's no tariffs coming from Europe, I mean, I guess all the plants that like Optimal, or the one in the Netherlands, I forgot, was that Record Industry, yeah, GZ, Palace, those, I mean, and not saying that those prices won't go up as well, but not as a direct result from any tariffs that could be imposed. But Jose brings a great point up, like those jackets, the Stoughton-like jackets that are produced in Mexico, could increase the price significantly, or maybe 15%. But remember, 15% is to the label. They're always going to tack on another spread to justify a little higher margin, or to absorb whatever fluctuation of the market. So,
and at least at least what the news here is saying is, again, we're just gonna charge it back. I don't understand why people don't just understand that that's what's gonna happen. What else is gonna happen?
Well,
It's
the
like-
other thing, Jose,
Not to get into
point out-
politics, but I think these are just bargaining. They're just
Oh, they
bargaining.
are. I mean,
Um,
absolutely. Our bargaining chips. I mean, they're.
Right.
yeah, they're racist. Fucking.
No,
Hey,
no,
Jose, why don't you cool
no,
that down, dude?
no,
I mean, it's yeah, right. That's
anyway, I didn't want to open this one, but
Hey, I'm in the massive filter. I can say whatever the fuck I
oh
want.
no.
Oh,
Here's the other
I
part.
thought you had more sense than that, but I guess
Let's say that. Let's
Well,
say hang on. Let's say
I don't got no sense for that piece of shit orange.
All
guy,
right,
so-
all right. Let's say there are some degrees of
Yeah.
tariff put in some way. They're going to pass it on to the customer. That can be resulting. Let's talk about the jackets. I like where that was going. If they're sourcing them different places and you throw on some added costs, it's going to be one of two things. Either they're going to continue to do them, pass on the cost, or they're going to cheapen the jackets, which I definitely don't want because I hate when you get two pieces of vinyl in a non-gatefold because 80% of the time when you get that sumbit shipped, unless it's packed like a tank, seems split city. So I hate it. Alex, I know you are my brother from a different mother when it comes to the dollar bins. When you hear this kind of talk about potential vinyl increases just through some of this kind of maneuvering potentially, does that just make you want to double and triple down on just staying out of the reissue racket?
Yes. No, I don't. I mean, I get plenty of reissues too, but no, it's funny that I am going to put myself in the category of people I think we need more of, which is I don't know enough about this topic to have an opinion, but so yes, but no, I mean, I don't think it's going to affect my $1 Procol Harum records, so.
Hey, you got that Bobby Womack, dude. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, I listened to it last night. It's pretty bad. So
don't sleep on Bobby. He's where it's at. I like it. So, all right. Well, let's get off of the political corner because I just wanted to put my foot in that one and then get it out. I know Jason, I was getting a little too controversial. I could see you getting uncomfortable, so I don't want to make Rojas uncomfortable. Bring it back to Fremer. There you go. Let's everyone bring it back to Fremer. Fremer will have all the answers.
Speaking of, Mr. Fremer got inducted into something. I was reading
Comedians Hall of Fame.
Oh
No.
I guarantee that didn't happen.
It was some type of audiophile community or what it was. Did anyone see that post on? I think it was either Tracking Angle or something.
Wait, what plant doesn't get 500 volumes?
The Paramount pressings. I sent you the list where you get the pricing.
That's the former VMP.
VMP.
Yeah, that's the one that Dave Rawlings and
what is that again? What does it have to do with me?
You were talking about pricing of records. And so this is a new plant, and I was wondered if you would want to look at those prices.
Yeah, but where's the plant?
Denver. It's in Denver.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I will say that again, I've tried to work with at least 5 or 6 pressing plants. Even here inside Mexico, the prices are way more expensive because raw material is more expensive and what do you call it? Labor,
Yes.
Laboring costs are more expensive in the U.S. So again, and what you have one pressing plant that might be cheaper. What is everybody gonna press there?
Well, the hope is, and I don't want to speak out of school here, but the hope is, David, I think we've talked about this before on the show, with more pressing plants in the States, now there's open capacities. So the thought would be the competition would hopefully, knock on wood, drive pricing down somewhat because they'd want to fill those capacities.
Yeah.
That pressing plant being paramount, tongue-in-cheek, paramount to that kind of conversation because they've got capacity they want to fill, should fill, etc. But
right. Yeah. Yeah, I just threw it out there so you could look at it and you could come back and say, "Hey, it's better or worse." I don't know. I don't do that for my living. So just a new option.
So I don't know what war crab is, but I gotta give the guys in the chat credit. They have been spamming the shit out of the chat this evening with whatever war crab.
Well.
Yeah, so I don't know. But you know, I'm okay with that kind of spamming because I think it's harmless fun. So plus it makes the
it was just Louis talking about the banned war crabs.
yeah. I don't know, man.
That's nothing to clap about, I'll tell you.
Wow. Well, Bianco, you started strong and finished strong. In the middle, you know, it got a little choppy, but you know, I mean, look at this stuff. We got Louis Golden. It says Jimmy eat war crabs. We've got oh my gosh, everyone. Joey Tavares, massive war crab. I mean, guys, limp war crab. BK. I mean, guys, this is even holy shit. Even Scotty DJ Final Vertical. Everything but the war crab, guys.
This is a classic.
I mean, I can appreciate the joke, man. This is amazing. I've been trying to be focused because you know I gotta run the ship. But I mean, Louis Gold is just going to town. Oh hell, even Jose, where would you slip this one in? Sushi and the war crabs.
That was a pretty good one, I guess.
Wow, unbelievable. Well, I don't know. Last thing I'll say about all these costs and everything we're talking about. I saw Cesar talking about it, but you know, there's the old myth of are people going to go back to CDs? We'll kind of close with that. So let's just take a straw poll. Are people going to get back into CDs? Alex, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I think people already have. That might not be, again, like I said before, like of this community of people who go on YouTube and talk about, you know, matrix numbers and stuff. Like I maybe we don't see that, but I see a ton of local stores, more and more people in there buying a shit ton of CDs.
I'm seeing CDs more on the floor of my locals than years past. For sure.
I think people are. I say back, but it's true. I think people are passionate about physical media again. I think that is a huge thing, and honestly, like when it comes to collecting things, like CDs are a lot cheaper. There's a lot more space for them. Like I think we are now like the generation that grew up on vinyl is kind of, I mean, they're maybe back into it, but also like my generation grew up on CDs, right? So like people who are my age now are more inclined to go, you know, buy their CDs or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I think so. And the only thing I would say on like the price thing is even if prices go up, I'm curious how much that impacts our hobby, because we are a hobby where people drop $600 on audiophile records, and so I don't know, is dropping $700 on the same record going to be, you know, it's like I you know, I'm not going to do a $175 UHQR, but I might do a $150 one. Like I don't know. That's going to differ person to person, I guess. But yeah,
Mr. Rojas, I'm curious. I mean, surely you've got some CDs. Like, what do you think the CD revival is a myth? Is it the next extension of people chasing cheap physical media? What say you?
Do you remember when CDs were like $20, $25?
Right.
Remember
yeah,
that?
long boxes, Best Buy, yeah, $17.97. Yeah, they pushed the pricing elasticity as far as they could.
Correct. And then when they were that much, that's why I went to records, right? Because they were like less than $5, right? Now the tables have turned, right? Now the CD is $1, $2, and the record is now selling between 30 and 40, 50, right? Maybe even more.
I'm sorry, I'm late with that drop, but the tables have turned. It was very sinister. I'm sorry.
I mean, if I was, you know, getting into music, why would I pay, you know, 40, 50 for the new album, right? It's a no-brainer, you know? I actually hate that, like what's happening, you know, but you know, I'm just a pawn in this game, you know. I cannot change.
This is like the fourth Dylan reference you've done in this stream, Jason. I've been counting.
Guy sees one movie and then he's Bob Dylan's press agent.
He's only like I'm only in the early Dylan quotation period, you know.
I'm glad you're paying attention, Jose. It's good.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good.
And I'm paying attention to the Jack Kerouac on the back.
Oh yes, yeah. Please, please.
David,
The wall is the holy moly wall is to, you know, impress. Right?
Yeah.
David, is this a Ticket to Ride? What are you showing?
These are long. These are what were called long boxes
long
when the
boxes.
CD
Yeah,
first
yeah.
came out.
Yeah, I got you. Boom.
I thought they were porno mags.
No.
Hey,
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
David,
there's a store.
the
There's a
first
store
CD
here.
The first CD I ever bought was the Sgt. Pepper Long Box in 1987.
Oh, really? And that was the first one I showed. That's funny.
And I still have the long box.
Yeah, I kept all my long boxes.
Anybody here collected 3-inch CD singles? Because there's a store here that
I
has
do.
a lot of them.
I do.
There's a store here that has a lot of them.
Really, I bought a lot of them.
With the semi long box. I mean, it was like double the size of this 3-inch.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a joke.
I don't even know. I am actually nobody gonna give a fuck about this, but I'm actually releasing a record on mini disc
Oh, yeah. Okay.
because they still manufacture them in the UK.
Yeah.
Jose, you should have told me ahead of time. I could have done this right. You could have give it the right and long.
Breaking news.
Yes. I got a contact, and somebody's doing mini CD because we're doing cassette, vinyl, CD,
Yeah.
mini CD.
Can you
And,
guys remind
still
me?
fucker, right?
Did the mini disc have higher resolution than a CD?
I thought it
Not really.
No.
Not
Same
really.
red book. Same red book standard.
did.
But I'll tell you what, there were a lot of interesting titles for the mini disc. Actually, one of the most expensive ones is Division Bell and OK Computer.
I have Division Bell. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're very interesting. There's like PSP. You remember those PSP mini disc type movies? Well, all the PSP cartridges were like they were actually
the PSP, Sony PSP handheld video game. They also played movies. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a Nirvana, Nevermind, official release on that. So as somebody who likes those formats,
Sony just announced they're going to stop making that recordable media, the Blu-ray and the mini disc for home recording. Now they'll do it for commercial purposes still. Yeah.
Wow.
But
actually,
not
by the
for-
way, now that I'm thinking of it, and now that David said that, I have to buy for a project here a DSD Tascam capture,
Oh, no.
and they're not that expensive. So I would actually want to know, because I did a little research on like few options. They're never that expensive.
not really. No.
No, so just interesting. It's like you can get one for like $1,000.
Yeah.
Oh, how audiophile? It's the gear.
Hey, listen,
But,
I gotta make an unpopular commentary. We've got all this war crab commentary going on in the chat.
LCD Warcraft.
Every time you hit one of those, why don't you hit that like button too, fellas and fellettes? Because if we had a like for every damn time I've seen some kind of war crab commentary, we'd be smoking this shit. So let's go. If you're gonna, Jose. Even Jose.
We need five more, man. We need 5 more to get to 50.
Yeah, can we
That's
get to
right.
50 likes?
Be like SpongeBob. Hey.
5
and-
all the crabs. Hit it.
But and I put it on. I sent it to some people, but a good friend of mine, bass player for my band, is in Mexico City right now, and of all human beings in this earth, Rick Beato is in Mexico City right now at a music fair, and he met him, and he told him that I run a rumor saying that he's dead, and he was just like, what? And he took a photo, then he left. So he knows now. I just want to say that.
I mean, Jose.
Pick up.
But Rick, all he said was, "Now I'm as famous as Paul McCartney." I mean, what the hell's that about? I mean,
I guess, but it's Rick Beato crabs.
Gosh. Rick Beato subbed up to Jose Moreno Ron. What is this shit?
Rick Beato. I think when he takes like a shit, he's like thinking of like titles for videos.
I don't know. This historic surface noise. We're going to close on this. I see Dave Pounds is Not only did we hit the triple digits on the live stream, excellent. Now we've hit this 50 something likes, and I think I'm gonna go back and count up how many times somebody said the word war crab. I think that's gonna probably be in the thousands. So I think this was a historic surface noise. My man Spins Vinyl coming at you next week on the B side. These guys work cut out for them. I don't know if you can replicate not only the numbers, but this war crab thing. I don't know. I don't want that to be the surface noise legacy of war crab, because I'll be honest. Here's my Jose. I don't know what the fuck war crab even is, but everyone seems to be having fun, and I'm okay with that, because at the end of the day, if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. So I want to thank my guests. I want to thank the panel, all the war crab aficionados, and the like. Even even David Bianco he could not help himself with the war crabs. I mean, good. It's infecting the dais. At first it was Jose. Next thing you know, Alex is going to be saying something about war crabs, and it's going to get awful. Yeah.
If you can't fight them, join them. You know.
Well, see where your loyalties lie, guys. All right. Well, anyway, good time, good show. Thank everybody in the chat. The war crab aficionados, Louis Golden. I think you started this, so I'm gonna come for you. But I want to thank everybody. Podcast, Vinyl Community Podcast. Catch us B-side next week. And the Dillards, was that the big win? I think that's what we pushed the triple mark, was the Dillards. So
next shootout.
Whack. David
Here
Bianco
comes off the wall.
Wow.
Quincy Jones might be dead, but off the wall is it?
Wow. All right. Good saying. Good hand.